Okay, Build Space Week 1 in progress. Let's talk about ideas. Welcome back to the Idea Supply Chain, where we take a look at where ideas come from and what makes those ideas valuable. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the first week of Build Space Nights and Weekends Season 5. And if you saw the last video, I had mentioned that I'm joining it again this year. I've been in the last few, and honestly, it's been an incredibly positive experience. And so I definitely want to document and share my progress through it. And honestly, this season is actually even more special for me because for the first time ever, I'm not the only one in my house doing Build Space. In fact, my 9-year-old has decided to join me on this Build Space journey. It started with a conversation about him asking about learning to code. And I was talking about the fact that as I learned how to code, I really focused on only coding what people told me to code. The true magic in learning to code was really being able to build the stuff that I want to build. And so I was talking about this and I said, I was getting ready to start Build Space. He asked if he could join. And I was like, yes, that would be totally awesome. And so here we are, week 1, starting with an idea. So at first, I want to pop up my idea slide. In this case, I'm working on growing my newsletter, Engineering Generosity. And so to start with, a one-liner. So we'll say, learn how to build systems that inspire an abundance mindset. Honestly, I'm a little torn on it. I think it could be probably a little cleaner, but I think it does a decent job of capturing the overall idea. I think most people kind of understand what an abundance mindset is, kind of get the concept of systems, and the goal is to learn how to create those systems. And then the description. So a newsletter to learn from, a community to connect in, and a lab to experiment in. And so this is actually kind of the 3-tiered approach that I want to play around with so I've got the newsletter. I write about the concepts. I write about how I'm, building things out, how I'm experimenting. So I think that's good. The community aspect, I think, is really key here because one of the things that I've really realized is this idea of abundant systems. You can't have an abundant system of one, which is kind of funny because you think of like the term abundance mindset and it's all about the individual. But with systems, it's really a community of people. And that's kind of why we want to engineer generosity. We want to build systems that inspire the people within them to have an abundance mindset. And so in this case, I really want to get people together around the ideas. And so this is kind of this paid level of the Substack, although the payments are going to be pretty generous. Like I've set kind of a price, but I'm willing to waive that price if people request it. And I talk about that on the Substack itself. And finally, the lab to experiment in. So this is the new piece that I've really started building out this week. It's where I'm taking kind of the building block ideas that I use in the other stuff I'm building. A lot of AI tools. So starting off like converting YouTube videos into blog posts. That's something that I worked on for a bit and I got it to what I believe is a pretty high quality. This is something that people can use to go out and create way more value. And so what I want to do here is start with a small building block, give it to other people, and then let them scale that up and build that more to really see what they can do with it. And so it means that I don't necessarily have to go out and find users. What I can do is I can kind of create a basis for people to use the tool. They can find users, they can find people who would benefit, and they can really, grow their own business around that if that's something that they want to do. But they don't have to. And maybe it's worthwhile, maybe it's not. But if nothing else, it gives me a way to even use things more easily. A lot of times I'm doing things in like Jupyter Notebooks or just kind of one-off scripts. This allows me to make it a little more production ready, share it with other people who want to use it, and then, hopefully get the community to see the value in it. I've also got the Idea Collider where you can take 2 YouTube videos, slam them together. I've got a couple ideas of how that might work. in terms of what I really want to do with it that I haven't managed to quite get as good as I want is like fully customized tutorials, step-by-step walkthroughs on exactly what you want to do. Because, a lot of times like you're learning from a tutorial about the general concept and maybe you're learning about a more specific concept. And so you kind of have to like slam these ideas together, right? And figure out how they all work together, whether or not, part of one is outdated. I think that's something that we can actually do kind of on the fly. So I want to play with that and see and give it to other people and see what they can do with it because I think it's a cool idea and it's fun. And then finally, kind of a writing tool that I'm working on that it will let me kind of do somatic check-ins before I write. This is something I've learned to do as part of Foster. I don't do it by default. And so in this case, I want something that like says, hey, before you get started writing, how are you feeling? Let's do a check-in. That's just something that'll help me. And then also being able to kind of finish writing and then save that document into something that is fully searchable using vector databases, things like that. And so I want to kind of create this, much better writing experience based on what I'm looking for. And again, I'll put that in front of people. Maybe they'll use it, maybe they won't, but it's at least out there and they'll be able to experiment with it. And so early on, the kind of plan I've got for it is I'm going to make it kind of a credit-based usage system, and premium subscribers to Engineering Generosity, the newsletter, will get a bunch of credits to use. It'll convert rather generously, Engineering Generosity, over to the platform, and then the various tools, depending on what is entailed to use them, will cost a certain amount of credits, based on what it costs me to run them. And so the idea here is really making cost as transparent as possible, creating a bit of a margin there that can then go back into creating extra things for the community. And it's a lab, so I don't know what's going to work. I don't know what's not going to work. But what I do know is I do want a core group of people, a community who are learning from the newsletter, experimenting with these tools, because again, it's not just about me. It's about a group of people learning how to do things abundantly and to create these systems that inspire an abundance mindset. All right. So that's my idea slide. Please, in the comments, let me know. Any of that clear? Did it make sense? Did it not? And then I also wanted to share my son's idea slide. And so he wants to create a YouTube channel about learning to code and make music videos. Those are two things he's interested in doing. He wants to share kind of what he's learning about as he's learning about it. And then kind of the like, what is it description? Like, watch a kid learn how to make videos about the stuff he's doing. Like, it's, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. But I think it's great. And again, I told him this as we were watching one of the lectures. I think it's so awesome that he's gotten such an early start on this. There's no pressure to make anything happen in any short time frame. And this is something that, I've been stressed out about quite a bit lately over trying to like make things happen on a schedule. And he doesn't have that. And so there's so much freedom there that he gets to explore with, he gets to play with. And so watching how he gets to approach it is helping me think better about how I want to approach it. I see the fun, the joy, the excitement. That's what I'm going for too. Like, I want to make that part of what I'm doing. So anyway, that's it for week 1 of Build Space. All about the ideas. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know. What'd you think? My idea slide, Henry's idea slide. Hit me with that feedback. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.